Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. Now, following Terence Crawford's fantastic victory over Canelo Alvarez to become undisputed super middleweight champion this past weekend, several figures within the boxing community have come out to say that in their view, Terence Crawford is actually better than Floyd Mayweather. Now, before I get to who those individuals are, I first want to tell you about how Terence Crawford's performance against Canelo changed my perception of things, because whenever I'd been asked previously, in live streams and what have you, who I would pick in a fantasy matchup between Prime Mayweather and Prime Crawford, I've tended to lean slightly towards Mayweather. But after that performance there against Canelo, not just the fact he won, the manner in which he won, I've changed my mind. I would now lean towards Prime Crawford over Mayweather. And the reason I say this is because of the expert way in which Terence Crawford mixed offensive in-the-pocket boxing with defensive on-the-move boxing. Not running, save for maybe a round or two. No, just moving nicely. Because if there's one area of Floyd Mayweather's game that was underdeveloped, it's his front foot game. Whenever Mayweather was forced to walk an opponent down, what he did was actually very basic. He would hold his hands up and he would walk forward throwing straight right hands. Okay, they were accurate straight right hands. They were well-timed straight right hands. But there wasn't a whole heap of head movement. There wasn't a whole heap of creative or dynamic footwork, coming forward, walking somebody down. No, it was very, very basic stuff. And I don't think an approach that basic would have worked against, let's say, a Tommy Hearns, who was 6'1", 6'2", 78-inch reach, massive puncher, good hand speed. So I always thought that a prime Tommy Hearns would beat Prime Mayweather, because I can't see Mayweather doing what Ray Leonard did, grabbing a bull by the horns and taking it to Tommy Hearns. Can't see him doing that. And if he did try and do it, he's going to get clipped. Tommy Hearns hit so hard, that guard for Mayweather wouldn't be enough, in my opinion. And I never saw Mayweather on the front foot moving his head a lot. When he's in the middle of the ring or on the back foot, when he's being defensive, yeah, that's when he moves his head. The famous Philly shell defense, the shoulder roll and all that. But coming forward, no, it's a lot more basic. Go watch Mayweather's old fights. You'll see what I'm talking about. Whenever he's forced to come forward, it's basic stuff. And so after watching Crawford's performance against Canelo, I got to thinking, you know what? Maybe Crawford employs similar tactics if he fights a Prime Mayweather. Maybe he doesn't stay in the middle of the ring engaging in a back and forth chess match. Maybe he actually uses his legs, at least in spots in the fight, to force Mayweather to come after him. Crawford's a very intelligent fighter. And if he does that, I can see how he wins, especially since he's also got the ability to switch southpaw orthodox. You know? But look, at the end of the day, this is just an opinion. None of us will ever know who would have won between Prime Mayweather and Prime Crawford. Nevertheless, as I mentioned at the top of the video, there are various figures within the boxing industry who, like me, now think Crawford would have beat Mayweather. They share my viewpoint. Two of them are people who actually fought Floyd Mayweather. Canelo Alvarez was the first one to say it at the post-fight press conference. He thinks Crawford's better than Mayweather. And nobody should hate on that. He got in the ring and lost to both men. If anyone's qualified to make that statement, it's him. Another former Mayweather opponent who said the same thing is Shane Mosley. In this interview here, he said he thinks that Crawford's better than Floyd Mayweather. Again, he fought Floyd. If he's not allowed to say that, who can? And a third person from the boxing industry, at least from what I've seen, there may be others, right, is Billy Nelson. And he went further than saying that, in his opinion, Crawford's better than Mayweather. He actually said that Crawford might be the greatest fighter to have ever lived. Now, based on achievements, you certainly can't put Crawford up there. The greatest that ever lived. Doesn't have that type of resume. But if Billy Nelson, in a fantasy matchup scenario, thinks that Crawford would beat, let's say, any other welterweight to have existed, okay, fair enough. Or any other lightweight or 140-pounder, okay, everyone's got an opinion. But what say you? Do you think Terence Crawford is better than Floyd Mayweather? Do you think prime for prime, Crawford would have won that fight? Another thing that I forgot to mention is the fact that Terence Crawford, despite being a similar height to Floyd Mayweather, has actually got longer arms, a longer reach. Very unusual for a Mayweather opponent. Oscar De La Hoya had a longer reach than Floyd Mayweather, but not longer arm length. HBO used to show the arm length measurement, which is measured from the armpit to the end of the fist, and they showed that Mayweather had longer arms than De La Hoya in the fight, because arm length and reach are two different measurements. In fact, HBO once showed that Floyd Mayweather actually has longer arms than Vladimir Klitschko. That's how long his arms are for his height. Bear in mind, Klitschko's 6'6", Mayweather's 5'8". But Terence Crawford, very, very long arms. And it's one thing having long arms, it's another thing knowing how to use them. Crawford obviously knows how to use them very, very well. So yeah, 3 names within the industry who think that prime for prime, Crawford beats Mayweather. And obviously, I concur with that. I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share this video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.